Today we're back out shooting with the 1DX Mark III. A little bit later we're heading into Aberystwyth to take some pictures of the starlings on the pier. Ellie promises me there's a really good population down there, so hopefully we'll see some lovely murmurations. But before that we've got an hour to kill. So we've headed up to the Dovey estuary that you can see behind me. We're just on the foothills of the Snowdonia National Park. It starts just across the water behind me, and we're going to take a few landscapes with the 1DX just to kill some time. Oh, it's good that works. That's such an old remote switch.
It is. It's a really, I've had this remote switch for years and it actually works in this new camera.
So as long with all the cards, you now don't need to buy
I don't need a new remote switch for this. This image is working perfectly. The drizzle, you know, it's come in now. It's just a little bit misty. So we've lost the mountains of Snowdonia across the estuary. But what we have got is just a beautifully simple image.
Yeah.
This line of groins going right down to the sea. Let's take another shot.
What's that giant, weird creature in the middle of the shot?
It's just come out of the sea.
Yeah, it's just come out, almost like a turtle.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what the Latin name for this species is. I really like this feature with the Mark III. In terms of using live view and the touch screen for focusing.
Oh yeah, you won't have that on the 1DX.
No, and I think that's going to be a big difference between photographers who've been using the Mark I and then go to the Mark III.
Yes,
They're really going to see that difference,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
it's a really nice feature.
Yeah, I think as well, it's the flexibility with the 1DX series. You know, although they're sort of targeted towards sports and wildlife, like because we've just got an hour, we can just come out and shoot landscape. I know they're not super high resolution, so yes, if you're a landscape photographer, you're probably going to want to look at something that's higher resolution, but you can shoot it. If you're out on a trip, you know, you can shoot pretty much whatever you want, almost in any light. You know, George, who's behind the camera videoing there, we went out and were shooting video at night with it, and it was brilliant in low light. You know, it's a really good camera for sort of all-rounders, which I guess is why they're so popular with press.
It is, and I think, you know, even if you're going to be using this as a wildlife photographer, you know, to have the flexibility to be able to use it for landscapes and macro and, you know, other disciplines, it's a fantastic all-rounder.
Yeah, no, definitely. So last night I sent one of the shots we did yesterday, the 20,000 ISO ones. One of my mates was like, how's the 1DX going? So I sent it over to him, so I'll get it up now. What's it? So this is just the JPEG straight out of camera,
Okay.
So,
this is interesting.
Yeah, so I've just copied it straight onto my phone.
Yeah, that's pretty good, Amy. yeah. Geez, 20,000.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. It really is. And comparing that to the Mark I, where we were using ISO 20,000.
It's completely
there's no comparison. Yeah, I like that. I just get a little bit more of the foreground in, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know the thing about what's the most interesting part of the composition? Is it the foreground or the sky? And here it's probably the foreground, isn't it?
We're finished down at the beach now, and we're going to head towards Aberystwyth, where we're hoping for some nice starling murmurations.
Without the sunset.
Yes, the cloud is not moving. It is going to be a very silhouette-y murmuration, I think. The starlings started pretty early, but luckily we got here early enough to capture everything. We've had quite a few groups come in already. Ellie's set up. She's on the gimbal head with the 1DX 3 and a 300mm. She's getting them coming into the girders at the moment. We'll have loads of groups coming in to join the roost under Aberystwyth here. So at the moment, she's done a few slow exposures as well, and we'll probably try and get some wide shots if we get some more big groups come in too. Ellie, I can see you're on a 20th of a second now. What are you trying to get here?
I'm getting some slow exposures just because of the light levels.
Yeah, sure.
But we've got big numbers coming in now. They tend to come from different areas, and then they all group together for this one big roost. So what I'm doing is, it's actually because of the light and the mist, it's almost a black and white that we're achieving at the moment. It's super. And I'm shooting at 1/20th of a second, but I'm using the structure of the underneath the pier, the girders of the pier.
It's such a beautiful structure.
It is, and it's sort of quite an architectural natural shot, but with the blur of the starlings coming in.
There are some massive groups.
Oh, there's some really good groups.
It's really cool.
That's right. Normally in Aberystwyth, about 50,000 birds. So it really is one of the UK's spectacles at this time of year. And it's working really well. You can see just more and more are coming in now.
Yeah. So we've come down to the beach now. We've just swapped back over to the 300mm on the gimbal head. There's a few of the murmurations coming down across the sea. And then also we've got the flock in the pier as well now. So there's so much going on. There's so much you could photograph. We've got another massive group coming in above my head.
Phenomenal. How good, hey?
Look at that group.
Yeah. But you see, I really like, because ideally we can get out a little bit more and you're shooting. Can you imagine the sun is going down here normally? Yeah, sorry about the sunset, but never mind.
Didn't bring the weather, did you?
No. But I really love using these girders as the kind of the setting stone. And then just having the blur of the starlings as they're coming in. Yeah, it makes a really nice shot.
Now here's a test for you. So we tried the high ISOs with the red kites, and obviously you said it was far more usable than what we were using on the 1DX1.
Yeah.
So can you get kind of sharp accent shots even this light with that? If we like maybe get some of the ones that are over the waves, can we get them without? Yeah. Because it is quite dark now.
It is. Let me just check exposures, and I'm going to push the ISO. So I'm going to take this to about an ISO of 5,000 at the moment. Yeah.
We've got a big group coming now.
Absolutely, and I'm getting a shutter speed of 1/500th now, which I'd be happy with for this. So let's take a look.
Gosh, amazing.
It's incredible. And you can just hear that wonderful sound now as they're all grouping together. That's looking pretty clean for me.
Yeah.
Even at 5,000 ISO.
Yeah, nice.
So comparing that with my Mark I, again, I've got to say, there are many improvements on this camera, and it's the ISO performance that's really impressing me.
Yeah.
Really, really impressed with this. Yeah. And can you see that, you're getting, they're all at different...
Yeah, so cool.
I love this, and it's black and white because of the light conditions.
Yeah.
It's a monochrome image.
But it's, as you say, it's so clean.
Yeah.
Because I was worried earlier when when we were coming from that beach, and I was just thinking, God, this is going to be awful.
Yeah. But it's just, you see that?
So clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely.
It's the architecture, but with the wildlife. Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
Look at this. Amazing. Got very good numbers here this year.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. And what a treat to shoot this with this Mark III. It really is. It's
Okay, this is killing me. Can I have a go
No.
I'm going to stick it in high, and I'm going to put it on the screen, and I'm going to go for a full 20 frames per second with the electric shutter here, because I just want to get at the end of the pier the way they're moving around.
Yeah.
So I'm going to lock that on for a second, and let's just get a little bit of their movement. We'll play that back as like a movie. Have a look. It's just beautiful.
Super.
Isn't that amazing?
It is.
I'm gonna pop the ISO. So I'm shooting at 10,000 now. So I'm gonna stick it back down quite low, so that shutter speed goes down a little bit. I just want to get a slower shutter speed and do that same thing again.
So Amy, I'd really be looking at the girders now. For that architectural type of shot. As all the starlings are coming in, you can see them landing, taking off. Really beautiful.
What aperture would you normally shoot this at?
About 7.1. Yeah. But you can go even tighter than that if you wish.
Look at that out to sea. The amount of starlings here is just insane. I think Ellie's already mentioned they get about 50,000, and a lot of the flock have just flown back off the pier. It's such an incredible sight, even in this rubbish weather. have you managed to deal with the fact that, I mean, the light is awful.
It is terrible.
And it is quite dark now.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you still able to get stuff that's usable?
Absolutely. I'm doing two different things. I'm doing some really sharp shots by really pushing the exposures. So taking it up to 10,000 ISO plus, going up that way. I'm also bringing the ISO down and taking it between 1/40th and 1/80th of a second.
So you get that little bit of movement.
So I'm getting the movement, and what I'm doing now is I've just switched it back onto the 300mm again, because I'm wanting to just again use these girders as the structure. And some of the starlings are sitting quite still on there, and others are flying around.
So you get that crazy,
and you get the blur, or you're just getting the blurred wing as they're flying.
Nice.
And that's the type of shot I really like from here. So I'm doing two different techniques. Some are sharp, caught in the action, and some are really slow. And what's happening now is in this light now on my Mark 1, I'd be just doing really, very slow exposure shots. Or I might even be doing multiple exposures, something like this, really just looking at different creative styles. But with the Mark 3 now, I can really push that ISO and go back to shooting the sharp stuff as well. So it just gives you more flexibility. It's giving me more to work with.
So we're just packing everything down now. We finished for the day. The starlings have been amazing, and I really enjoyed the red kites too. So what do you think, compared to the Mark 1, does it do it for you?
Absolutely, absolutely. Many improvements in this camera. Especially the high ISO performance, the autofocus, and the number of expanded points that you have in the camera. So altogether, putting all these improvements together, it's a huge jump from the Mark 1.
It's been more noticeable for me as well, because obviously I've only tried this at Canon for a bit, and then we went out one night to do some videos, so I haven't really had a chance to try it in this sort of habitat, and it worked so well. That, as you say, that ISO performance has been, it's just insane.
It is.
Very good.
It just gives you a lot more flexibility when you're out on a shoot.
Definitely.
Certainly when you have light levels now like this.
Oh, 100%. Well, if you want to know more about the 1DX Mark III, we'll definitely be doing more with it. Probably with you later this year. But we'll also be shooting. I'm sure you'll have stolen it by then. We'll also be shooting some sport stuff with the 1DX Mark III as well. So stay tuned to our YouTube channel for that. Make sure you subscribe, turn on those notifications, and when we've got it online, we'll also put a link in the description too. Now, if you need any more info on the camera, there's loads on our website. You can check out our blogs or our store page. Also, give us a call, send us an email, pop us at any of our stores where you can speak to our expert staff, or of course leave a comment here and we'll get back to you with all the information that you could possibly need, as long as we know it. Thanks for watching, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you.